Hello, happy Monday. This is Cassie. Thank you for coming back to my YouTube channel. Today I have a fun card just using some glimmer paste and some other fun products. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I am using the My Favorite Things Star Grid stencil, and I'm just going to use some washi tape to tape that to the back of my stencil, trying to line that up just right. And then I'm going to flip that over, and I am going to use some Nuvo Pink Opal Glimmer Paste along with a palette knife. And I have a good amount on my palette knife, and I am just scraping that all across. This stuff dries so quickly, and so even in this short amount of time that I am putting this and spreading this all across my paper, which that paper, by the way, is the Brutus Monroe lunch bag cardstock, so it's like a craft, but they call it lunch bag. Anyway, in the time that I am wiping this across, it is already starting to dry. And I do a pretty good job of keeping this pretty thin because I wasn't sure how long it would take to dry. And then I'm going to just peel this stencil off and try and clean up my mess a little bit. Try not to smudge any of that glimmer paste. But it's already starting to dry. So as soon as I am done taking this all off, the bathroom is right across the hall from where I'm at. And so I just took it right in there and rinsed that off. And it was already starting to dry to the stencil. So you really don't want to mess around with it too much. I mean, you've got some time, but yeah, you definitely don't want to let it sit because it'll just turn into cement on the outside of your stencils. So I'm setting my card or my panel off to the side to dry, and I'm using some heavyweight white cardstock that I had cut down to 4 1/4 by 11 inches and scored at 5 1/2 inches to make a top folding A2 size card, just using my score buddy. Love my little score buddy. And now I'm going to get ready to do some die cutting. I'm using the My Favorite Things Sweet Hello die. And I'm running it through on some white cardstock twice. This is, I think it's like an 80-pound cardstock. It's not heavyweight. So it's in an 80-pound, and I'm running it through with my Sizzix Sidekick. I love my Sizzix Sidekick. Great little die cutting machine that just can sit off to the side and cut out all those littler dies. And then I'm also going to run it through on this gorgeous tonic. It's some luxury embossed powder blue lace paper. This is going to be the top of my card, or the top of my hello. So the first two white hellos are just going to be like some filler, and then that blue one will be the top. And I'm also going to run through the back with some Brutus Monroe Vellum that I have. And it didn't cut through the greatest, but I think that's because I also need to replace my plates. Those babies have been used since I first got this thing, and I use that like crazy. So now I'm going to pull out that glue sponge once again. I've been using it, or tried to use it a few times, and one of the viewers gave the idea of possibly using like a plastic bag. So I'm putting that over my hand because I didn't want to get too messy. And then I realized that you're going to get glue on the plastic bag, and then you're going to transfer that to the top of the hello, which I really don't mind for this one because it's going to be a center. So it's okay if it has glue on the top and the bottom of it. So now I'm going to use my reverse tweezers to adhere this to one of the other white hello. And I'm just manipulating this. I do have some time because that glue sponge doesn't dry right away. And then I'm going to try, I thought about putting it back in with the bag, and then I thought no, because then I'll get the glue all over the blue hello. So I'm using my reverse tweezers to push that down into the glue sponge. And I've been storing my glue sponge upside down so that most of the glue will seep to the top, which is better, I have found. And then I'll set that on top of the two white hellos. So now I'm getting a little bit of a chipboard hello, so it's got some dimension to it. And this stuff is kind of tacky, and my hands are getting a little bit sticky, but I will say that this glue sponge, the glue in it, holds really, really well. I was quite impressed with that. And now I'm going to try and stick it back into the glue sponge so that I can adhere it to the vellum background hello. And I'll take my reverse tweezers once again and try and stick that in there. I don't want to have, glue seeping all over the front, because at this point I'm not sure how tacky that glue gets. If it's one of those that once it dries, it's good, or if it stays a little bit tacky once it dries. And I'm finding that I'm just getting some of that glue kind of all over the place. I really just wish that I had my Xyron sticker maker. Like, I wish I had some replacement cartridges for that, because that's what I would do. And now I'm going to go ahead and stick that whole thing inside the glue sponge and try and get glue all over the background, because this is vellum. The glue can show through, so I figure if I just put glue all over the back, you won't see it as much. And then I'm going to try and tack that down, because already my panel with the glimmer paste is dry, which is awesome. But I didn't get glue all over that back, so I'm just using my finger now to spread that out, push it into the glue pad or the glue sponge, and then wipe it around. And then I'm just going to take one of my stamp blocks. I'm going to set that on top so that way I can give that an opportunity to adhere to the glimmer paste that is already dry. I pulled out some navy cardstock because I'm going to use one of my sentiments from the My Favorite Things Greetings and Salutations. I rubbed my magic powder bag all over the front of that. That one's from Brutus Monroe and I love it. Stamp that with some VersaMark ink. And then I'm going to cover that with my Alabaster embossing powder, which is an ultrafine embossing powder. And this stuff is great. So I'm heating that till that is smooth and melted. And once that's smooth and melted and it's had an opportunity to dry, I'll rub away the excess powder bag material. And now I've trimmed it down, and I'm going to put a little bit of a fishtail banner in the one end, just cut into the center and then let the corners meet that center. And then I'm going to adhere that down using some Multimedia matte from Ranger. And I'm going to let some of that hang off because I want the hello, hey, and hi to kind of be more on the left or the right hand side. So then I'll flip that off, or flip that over and trim that off, the excess. And then I'm going to take my liquid glue, just my regular liquid glue that I use pretty frequently, and then I'll rub that all over the back of my card panel, and then I'll attach that to my card base. My hello, hey, and hi keeps flopping all over the place because I a little too impatient to let it dry before I started doing stuff. So I'll set the stamp block on there, and then when that is done, I'm going to start adhering some Simon Says Stamp Groovy sequins. I love these because they're very iridescent. I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you to everybody who has been liking and subscribing and commenting on my various videos. I appreciate it so much. And to all the people who have not only done that, but even clicked on my affiliate links and maybe even purchased things through my affiliate links, I appreciate that as well, because that's the kind of stuff that keeps my channel going. It keeps me a little bit motivated and helps to pay for some of the supplies that it takes to run this channel. So thank you so much for doing that, and it's at no cost to you, so I do appreciate it. And now that I'm done there, that's going to finish off this card. So if you liked this card, go ahead and hit that like button once again. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for stopping by.